Hi, I just entered this trade. I'm only going for 1-to-1 because it's a massive bar. So, however you draw it, like it'll either close out or have an overshoot. Um, if you draw from here, it closes out barely, and then even if you draw it off of, say, like this wick over here, it still closes out on the other side, so an overshoot, which is enough for me to take this because it's off the low of the day. The downtrend played out with a break, new low, or two legs to a new low, and then we're off of the low of the day. It's held a couple times. At first, I had the overnight lows here, but we've held here at the low of the day. This is the third time holding. Um, so I thought it was good enough. So, yeah, I definitely would have liked to get in earlier, actually. Um, I got in at the very high, obviously. Um, but either way, and about this range right here, I'm not too worried about going into the highs because we swung through the highs. So yeah, these highs right here. We swung through the highs, straight back down, back up again, back down, without, it's almost like they weren't even there. So I'm not exactly too worried. And all those swings also went through straight through the EMA every time. So I'm okay with going into it. Like the context is so good. It's just at a good area to buy, and then the setup is good. So it's not a perfect looking setup, but if you know the context is good, and then with the short-term trend line, however you draw it, there's either an overshoot or a closeout, however you draw it. So that's what I'm thinking here. So um, yeah, I guess I'll just let this play out. Um, yeah, dang, I could have gotten in what really early. If I got in down here, I could be going for 1-to-2. Um, but either way. And so when it does get to the target, or I guess if, um, I'm going to, I'm going to draw this. So this shows risk to reward. So basically, instead of letting it fill the target, I'm going to move the target up, and then as soon as the as soon as the price ticks through the target, which the target's there, but this is where I'm trying to get out at. As soon as it ticks through, I'm just going to put the stop right on it. That way, in case it spikes through, I can put the stop. There's a chance that you can get a runner with your whole position. So that's what I'm trying to do here. So I guess I'll have my runner target at the high of the range, and then as soon as it ticks through, I'm gonna put my stop. Oh, I guess I said that this is the high of the range. This isn't the high of the range up there. That's the overnight low, and we've broken out lower since then. So just to be clear, that's not the high of a range. Okay, so it's kind of just being annoying not going to the target really fast. But obviously that just happens sometimes. So right now it looks like it's making a failed second entry. So it did find resistance at these highs right here. I still think that they're probably weak and that it could just get through it. So okay, it's touching. Oh no, alright. Yep, okay. I got scared for a sec because it didn't let me place the order because I don't know why. I think it was just because it went lower again, so I couldn't place the stop. Yeah, that's one thing that can happen. And then it moves back on you. So, anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed that live trade. Um, so yeah, so 13 ticks. Entry was right here. Entered. So I didn't enter with a stop entry. I mean, I think I used a stop order, but I didn't get in on the regular stop entry. I got in one tick back. It pulled back pretty hard on me. So with this short-term trend line, I feel like I should have respected it more because it did close inside of it if you draw it like that, but I excused it because it had like a tiny overshoot, which really isn't that much. Um, it's more just like the context really good. I took a trade kind of like this yesterday, um, which let's look at it. So yeah, these lines right here, they might not be accurate to this day because I have them for a couple days. So Yeah, here it is. I took this. I didn't record this one though. It was a triple test, and then it was kind of after like a pretty big move down, but it was two legs down off the overnight, off triple test, two legs down. It's the low of the day. So I thought it was pretty good, and it kind of looks like the trade I took here, because it just kind of just goes down into the low of the day, triple test. Um, Very similar downtrend plays out with a break and a couple legs to a new low. So does the big, so huge downtrend, break, couple legs down, and then this short-term downtrend. Well, it's not that short-term, but it's shorter than the big one. Has a break, two legs down to a new low on the triple test, good signal bar. So I thought it was an okay trade to risk. Um, not necessarily risk, but wait, did I even have the? Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. So yeah, I thought it was worth the risk taking. So yeah, it would have been nice to get a little runner. Um, I wasn't willing to go for 1 to 2 on this trade, although I just would have been able to make that though. Um, but whatever. So I only got 2 trades today. Um, I wasn't as focused today. I feel like there wasn't as much stuff today anyway happening, but I wasn't really super sharp today. So I got 2 trades, but but you know, all right. So anyway, so these lines, I have my overnight highs here, overnight lows, and then these are just the lows of the day, which I'm going to redraw them as a shorter term line or a, you know, here we go. Okay, so triple test. Clearly there's resistance there. I just got out of that trade. I thought it was pretty good. So now I guess we'll just go over the day. So, I started trading around this area in here. Obviously I didn't have this downtrend at first. I did get the overnight highs and overnight lows at this point though. And clearly, if you can draw this, there's clearly a range here. It's just, it's kind of harder to find the highs, especially considering this bounce over here. But here you get the context is alright, but you just don't, it's just not good enough because you don't get a good signal bar. I mean, you do get this bar right here, but you would have to put your stop 2 bars back. That's not something I usually would do. And so, anyway, you're in the range. Breakout, most breakouts fail. Off the overnight low, if you put it there, I mean, you might have had it here. You know, at this point, I forgot. I didn't take this trade, so, but anyway, so this is an important area. Downtrend break, new low. Downtrend played out. Safe to look for longs. Most breakouts fail. Off the overnight low. Alright area. Then we have a higher low. No good signal bar below EMA, which, obviously below EMA isn't always a huge deal, but considering it's closing near the middle below EMA and is still, you see how this uptrend is, it's holding if you draw it off this line. Usually, a lot of times on higher lows and on failed second entries, I like to see them close out, so that way it's like uptrend break, then new high, which I guess you do get that here on this failed second entry. You'd finally get a closeout, but you don't, it doesn't trigger. Not to mention you wouldn't take it anyway because I don't even think you would have room to get out to the highs. If you had them here, maybe 1 to 1, but it's just really high up into the range, so I don't know. But anyway, we pull back again. We don't reach the highs. We break out. We fail. I didn't want to take that. It's just, at this point, I kind of was questioning the lows because it's a little bit harder to find them. Um, there's really nothing consistent, so I didn't take any of this. I got a second entry short. That one failed. And then right here, we get a bounce off the highs. That works. Lower high. And then we just push out. We go into this range. We pull back. So now we have the overnight lows here. We break out, pull back. I was looking for a trade over here. I was trying to find a short. So that way it could be like a breakout pullback, and then also it'd be a breakout of this range, and then, it just fade this range. And so I couldn't find anything. I was wanting to get something right below the EMA, pulled back, but nothing happened. So, oh yes, and then I started to draw bigger downtrend. Um, so we have this bigger downtrend. We have a break. And expect prices to make a new low. I was wanting to go long right here, but I didn't. I'm glad I didn't because just don't think it's a good context area, but I would have won the trade. I was thinking maybe if I could go for 1-to-1 here. Obviously, I didn't want to go for 1-to-2, considering the currently in play range just held twice right there, and it didn't chop through it yet. So I thought that it might have been okay to take the long, but considering this downtrend was in play, I decided against it, even though it has 2 legs down and it looks really good. Um, it's just against the bias, so I skipped it. And here I got a trade right after that though, where it just breaks out of the not the overnight, sorry, it breaks out of this range and then fails. It barely has to tick through the other side of the range to get 1-to-1. Um, Downtrend has a break. We're expecting a new low. You can clearly get price to make a new low at this point. It's not like it's not going to make a new low. Um, or I mean, like it's not like it's unlikely to because it's gone so far away and like the downtrend just broke and we're still expecting a new low. So that's one of the reasons I liked this. Basically, the context was just really good, so I took it. And there was enough room. I had to only go 1 tick lower, so anyways, then we push lower. Now the downtrend is played out with a break and a new low. So now it's safer to start looking for longs, which I didn't buy as soon as it made a new low because it could make another leg down. But it does reverse after it makes a new low. Finally get a close out of this short-term trend line and then you immediately reverse. So here is where I would want to look for a reversal pattern. Like say you get a first entry short, second entry short above the EMA, rushing above, that would be really good, but you only get this higher low below the EMA, and then you don't get a better entry above the EMA. So there's really nothing you can take there. So we move up, we make a little V. This uptrend has a break, 2 legs to a new high, and then it reverses down. We go into this bigger downtrend. It's kind of a choppy downtrend. I couldn't find any trades off of it. There's definitely nothing that's really good or anything. But then here we have a break, 2 legs down to a new low, and then that's where I get my trade. That's where it's just like a perfect context trade. Triple test, off the low of the day, downtrend played out, break, 2 clear legs to a new low, good signal bar. I thought it was really good. So anyway, there really wasn't any other trades in this area, at least that I thought was good. So then here I guess we made a higher low, but that was before I even got out of the trade, so I'm not going to take that. I don't like to add on usually. I've done it before, but not often. Not something I like to do often. And then we just move up. Looks like we're back at the overnight low. So anyway, um, so yeah, last video so yeah, I guess that's it for the day. But in my last video, I talked about my like study schedule that I would do. I didn't really elaborate enough on it. I kind of just barely talked about it. But someone wanted to know about it, so I'll talk about that now. Basically, how my studying would go is, I'd wake up at like 6 or 6:30 usually. This is Central Standard Time, by the way. Um, after breakfast, all the normal morning stuff, I would just start to study the chart. And I would get like an hour of studying the chart in before I would start actually actively trading, and then I would trade for a few hours. And basically, I would just study the market context before trading. I would go over because I would go over my losses from the previous day and the winners. I would go over every reason why they lost. I would go over why my winners, what could be wrong with even my winners. I would just go over everything I could think of, and so but yeah, so I would basically just study price action before trading, and then I would trade for a few hours, and then as soon as I'm done trading, I would just quickly do a review. I would just go over the whole day, and I would open up another chart, and I would redraw everything from the day. So it's basically like I went through the day as I was trading, and then I redo it afterward. You mark all your trades, winners and losses, pros and cons, whether they won or lost. Um, and yeah, that was basically the chart studying. And so then um, one other thing that I would do is I would study trading psychology. I would study like Randy Howell. And so he's really it's Randy with an E, not a Y, so just Rand and then E and then Howell. And so um, he talks about trading psychology from like an evolutionary perspective, which I know not everyone it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but he also has like spirituality stuff, you know. But his main deal is the evolutionary psychology. But see, I think that it's great for the trading psychology. Like it helps you just not be upset over a loss. It helps you just understand that losses aren't connected, and that if you take a loss, it doesn't mean that the next trade is more likely to lose or win or whatever, you know, whatever goes on in the trading mind, it can be very irrational sometimes. And so it basically just helps you calm down and just control your emotions while you trade, and he'll also teach breathing techniques and all that stuff is really good to learn. You know, it's like I used to think that all like breathing techniques and meditating and all that stuff, I used to think it was kind of just stupid. I never really thought it was like, actually going to be able to do anything, but that's not true. It really is good to, get some breathing techniques down and all that stuff. So, it's just, it really helps with trading. It can totally clear your mind, But anyway, so that's what I would do, and then also with the chart studying, it was I'll try to get more detailed. I would study like the whole market context. So I would go through a chart like this, say, and then I would mark everything like downtrend, and then if we have a break, I would type out break, or that says break. I would type out break, and then I would draw an arrow pointing at it, and then I would say expecting a new low, and then I would write out the attempts like downtrend break, first attempt. I would mark the first attempt. So on a smaller picture, it'd be like this downtrend has a break, first attempt lower, break, and then second attempt lower right here. Okay, so these two blue lines would be the two attempts lower. But on a bigger picture, if you just zoom out, it's clear that this downtrend has a break, and then a first attempt lower down to here, and then another break, and then a second attempt lower down to here. So, and I would try to just like mark the different levels, the smaller picture attempts, and then the zoom out, the bigger picture attempts. I would try to just recognize all of that stuff. Um, so yeah, that's really how I would study. Hope this helps. If there's any questions about it, um, just ask and I'll answer you in the comments. So yeah. Anyway, hope you all had a good trading day. Hope you all got more trades than me. Um, anyway, I guess have a good day, y'all.